Hello, and welcome to this very special webcast training. I'm John Commuta. Thanks for joining me this evening. I really appreciate your valuable time, and I'm not going to waste it for you. Now, I'm a best-selling personal finance author, but if you've never heard of me, I won't be hurt because I will be telling you my story as we go along. Now, you want to pay close attention because we're going to give away a brand new Kindle Fire later if you're the first one to correctly answer a question about something I'll be explaining during the presentation. But this is a time for you to disengage from everything else so that you can focus on what we'll be talking about this evening. That means shut off or mute the cell phone, close down any chats that aren't associated with this presentation, shut down social media sites, because these things are constantly refreshing and syncing, and they eat up bandwidth, which will deteriorate your end of this presentation. So I don't want you buffering and stuff on here. Close all the other stuff down and we'll get a nice clean signal out to you. Shut the door also and tell the family, hey, I'm spending some time that's going to help us all, because this information is very important for you and for those you care about. Now, this presentation is called 5 Smart Steps to Transform Your Work into Wealth, tax-free without stock market risks. And I will be delivering on that. In this webinar, I'm going to tell you about a true wealth building secret of the rich. It's based on a process you almost certainly have never heard of before. Now, this presentation will help you if you want to get off the debt treadmill so you don't have to continue working until you die, using a system that will pay off all your debts and build your wealth with the same dollars at the same time. This presentation will help you if you're concerned that even if you pay off your debts and invest your income, the markets will take it all away from you right when you'll need it. And this presentation will help you if you're making good money, but you know that the banks are getting wealthier on your money than you are. I'm also going to show you how to get a higher investment return than you can get anywhere else. Interesting. Now, if that sounds interesting to you, not just to me, let me know in the chat, because the chat helps me see kind of how we're doing. I look at the chat as you and me sitting across the table from each other in your kitchen. That's the way I'd like you to see this presentation. And that's the way I like to give it to you. And when you give me a little feedback in the chat, then I get to see sort of your facial expression, and it makes the conversation go a little bit better. So it helps keep me on target. And it gives me the feedback that I'd be getting if we were at Starbucks. Okay, here's my promise to you. I'm going to show you a system that you've almost certainly never heard of that can get you to where working at a job will be optional for you someday. This is a system that you'll control, a system that will benefit you and those you care about most. Now, is that a bold promise? If you think it is, stick around and watch me keep it. And if I keep my promise, do I have your permission to take 10 to 20 minutes to give you a great offer to consider at the end? If that sounds fair, you could give me another yes in the chat. Now, I have a couple of free bonuses for you just for sticking with us to the end of this presentation, whether or not you win the Kindle Fire. You're going to get all the slides from this presentation. So I will be teaching you a lot of stuff. And you should take some of the high level notes, the 30,000 foot view. But in terms of detail, I will be giving you the slides. So you're going to get all the detail that you'll need to review what we talk about today. You're also going to get another free bonus called the Calculate Your Debt Payoff Tool. This will help you quickly determine when you can be completely debt free. Plus, as I said before, we have our free gift giveaway. We're going to give away a brand new Kindle Fire during the Q&A. To win it, you're going to have to remember at least something important out of this presentation. Now, let me tell you about how to ask questions and how to comment in the chat. And I see the yeses and I appreciate it. And here's how this works. If you go down to the bottom of the chat area, you'll see a little sort of cartoon bubble down there. If you click on that, it will open up the option to make a comment or ask a question. If you have a question along the way, and we'll be doing Q&A at the end as long as you need to, select question, because if you select question, it brings the question up in a different color background and it helps us see that it's a question so we don't miss it. All right, let's start the presentation. And to get that going, I have to do some magic. I look over here at my monitor. It tells me what's going on with the presentation that we have. Oh, this is interesting. The share, which was working a little while ago, isn't working now. So I have to do this piece. So hang on. I will be back with you in a moment. And now we can do it. Here you go. Okay. And did you tell everybody to refresh or anything? Tell them to refresh so that they can know how to get back in here. All right. Crazy. All right. Why are we here today? We're here to watch John have to figure out how to do all this stuff on the fly when it doesn't work. That's called technical difficulties here at the space station. So here we go. We are here today because the idea of transforming your work into wealth sounds appealing, right? However, it's very likely you've been working hard to generate income, but that income is not transforming into wealth. Most of the people who typically attend this webinar are above average, hard-working achievers. But even working hard and achieving is not enough without a wealth transformation system. Today, I'm going to show you what I believe to be the best system. But let's start with your why. Why do you want to build wealth? And you need to answer this question kind of really introspectively. You got to have a good reason. See, undertaking any sustained activity designed to produce a specific outcome requires a motivating purpose, something that will get you up and at it on the days you really don't want to do it. What's your purpose for the wealth you want to create? Is it so you can enjoy more of life's good things and experiences now? Is it so you can slow down and enjoy the fruits of your labors later in life? Is it perhaps to educate your children? Only you know what drives you. Write it in the chat. Put it down. We're on a first name basis, so nobody's going to know who's what, but just get it out there, and also record it on paper or on your computer and post it where you'll see it daily. This is going to be your persistence power source to do this. But even persistence isn't enough if you're not persisting at the right thing. And I can tell you that from experience. If you don't find and follow a work to wealth transformation system, you'll end up alongside the rest of middle-class America. So where are they? Well, middle-class America is being financially squeezed. Average inflation-adjusted incomes have been stagnant or down for decades. Average debt loads, in the meantime, are up. Are these people in middle-class America following a system? Well, what they're doing is about half of Americans are saving, and I put that in quotes because this isn't really saving, it's more or less gambling. They're saving for retirement in a 401k, an IRA, a 403b, or other qualified plan. The other half of America is pretty much doing nothing to prepare for their futures. Canadians use registered retirement savings plans, so if you're viewing from Canada, you'll recognize that, but they work pretty much the same. So, are they working? Well, NBC News says, the great 401k experiment has failed for many Americans. CBS News says the 401k has failed. Let's admit it. Forbes chimes in and says, why 401ks have failed. See a trend? IRAs, 403bs, and other tax-deferred retirement plans work the same way and fail the same way as 401ks. How do we know? Because of the results. According to the National Institute on Retirement Security study, Americans are in aggregate $6.8 trillion shy of what they'll ever need to stop working. If we look at just ages 50 to 64, on average, Americans have just $12,000 saved. Imagine popping into retirement with $12,000. How long are you going to be able to live off that? If we broaden it out and bring in the young people, 25 to 64, the average drops down to just $3,000 saved. But here's the scary part. 45%, almost half of America has nothing saved. They're a couple of paychecks away from insolvency. Altogether, these statistics say that 92% of Americans are short by what they'll need, and not by a little bit, but by frightening margins. So what does this tell us? While Americans will say they expect to be able to retire someday, or where working will be optional, even early, some think they can quit early, but most of them are not doing the things that can actually make that possible. They're fooling themselves. This predicament is shrinking the middle class. Middle class Americans now comprise less than half of the nation's population. That's down from 61% in 1971, according to a recent Pew Research Center study. But where are they going? Well, the share of the population living in the upper income tier rose from 14 to 21% over the same period. Meanwhile, the share in the lower income tier increased from 25% to 29%. Did you catch that? While America's middle class is indeed shrinking, 7% have found a way to move into the upper income tier, while only 4% fell into the lower income tier. So what do the 7% know? There's obviously something the upwardly mobile 7% have figured out that the rest of middle class America either don't know or don't know how to implement. So we have two realities here. Qualified plans and other retirement saving strategies are abject failures. Most people are not building sufficient wealth for their future. At the same time, some middle-class people are not only figuring out how to survive, but how to thrive in their later years. That's where we come in. The financial challenge facing middle-class achievers has been my personal burden and motivation for more than 25 years, and it's been the same for my partner, Anthony Manganello. It's what drives us every day. Over that time, we've had the privilege of helping millions of people learn how to stabilize their middle-class lifestyles and how to move into what Pew Research calls the upper income tier. If you'd like to learn how to move into the upper income tier, or at least not fall into the lower income tier, you're in the right place. And it doesn't matter what generation you're in. Millennials, Generation Xers, baby boomers, if you have a job or a business and you're building your life and you're neither rich nor in poverty, I believe I have your answers in this webinar. But let's start back before I had any answers. In fact, before I even knew the right questions. Back in the day, I thought financial independence was a high income. Just make a lot of money. So along with some partners, I built a business that did pay me a lot of money each month. I lived what I thought was the American dream. But then our sole supplier went out of business on a Friday, and we were out of business by Monday. That scared me. I eventually did find a job, but I wasn't getting ahead. That job didn't pay what my business had. I felt like a failure, out of control of my financial life. All I could do was fight from day to day. Does that sound familiar? I thought I was building a successful life, but it was a life based on everything going right. That weekend, I learned everything doesn't always go right. So I was stuck. I worked hard at my job, but my sins were catching up to me. I was just paying for yesterday's purchases, and I had nothing left to put towards tomorrow. During that ordeal, I learned one of the most important facts of my financial life. Consumer debt is my enemy. When I used a bank's money, I became their investment, their servant. I was building the bank's wealth, not my own. When you use borrowed money, the creditor owns that part of your income for years and decades into the future. So I became obsessed because I felt vulnerable to my creditors, and I was determined to break free from their leverage over my life as quickly as possible. So I built a system. It was originally published as the Debt-Free and Prosperous Living System, but way before it was published, Lois and I started on this system, and we had 26 years left on our home mortgage plus a typical assortment of other debts. Well, following the system, we paid everything off in 4 years, 7 months. Now I was focused, really focused. And we did it using nothing more than our job paychecks. At the end, we owned our home and our vehicles, and we owned our entire after-tax income. That's the more important part right there. Now, that peeled away layers of stress. We enjoyed our time with each other more, and we had more time and energy to enjoy our children and eventually our grandchildren. So my debt elimination system worked. It worked a lot better than my original make and spend a lot of money system had. And I found that it worked for nearly everyone I showed it to. Most of them could pay off all their debts, including their mortgages, in about 5 to 9 years, depending on how creative they were at getting into debt. Well, debt-free and prosperous living became so popular, I had to create my own publishing company to get it out there. And it was called Financial Independence Network Limited, or FINL. We grew so fast, we were selected to Inc. magazine's prestigious Inc. 500 list 3 times, and that is not easy. My market manager back then was a young man named Anthony Manganello. Now he's my partner and co-instructor in the program I'm talking to you about today. After FINL, Tony branched out and started a company called Tower Legal Network, helping people settle their credit card debt. We both kind of stayed in the financial industry. That company served almost 4,000 clients, settled more than $40 million in consumer credit debt, and they had the highest client retention rate in the settlement industry at 96.4%. Meanwhile, debt-free and prosperous living evolved into the Transforming Debt into Wealth system. It was published by world-class publisher Nightingale Conant. It was advertised on satellite and local radio for nearly a decade, and it became the most popular and successful personal debt elimination and wealth-building course in the world, which led to my conducting 13 worldwide seminars with Tony Robbins' Wealth Mastery Program. All these teaching opportunities allowed me to help more than 3 million people get on the road to a better financial life. Now, Tony and I have worked together for more than 2 decades, and we've seen what works and what doesn't work. And with all that we've learned over the years, the system I'm going to explain to you in this webcast revolutionized our personal financial lives and what we now teach to others. We can save you a lot of pain. You effectively get to cheat. You get to take the shortcut that we took the long cut to learn ourselves, the shortcut to what we call the wealth curve. So what's the wealth curve? Simple. It's where your wealth only grows with an uninterrupted compounding. But this is the curve qualified plans are on, 401ks, IRAs, all of those. It's a little less smooth, isn't it? This is not a wealth curve. What difference would it make in your life? How would you feel if you knew you were securely on the wealth curve where your money was just compounding, even if you used it? Stop and think about this. Write it in the chat. What would you feel like if you knew with certainty you were on the wealth curve? Well, without some kind of plan to get you on the wealth curve, according to the research we just reviewed, there's a 92% chance you'll never be able to slow down or completely stop working if you want to. The banks and the mutual funds will end up with most of your money, and then you'll eventually die, which is one way to stop working, but that's not the one we like best. With a wealth curve plan, you can get to where your accumulated wealth can support you. You can stop working if you want, or at least slow down or switch to working something you like better. You can end up with your money instead of the banks and everybody else ending up with it. Your money pays you, the banks end up with nothing of yours, and you can enjoy your money while you're still alive. What a concept. In other words, you can transform your work, all the hard work you're doing to produce income, into wealth. Plus, with a dependable plan that can put you on the wealth curve, you can have a real shot at joining the 7% who are moving from middle class to the upper income tier. Now, before we really get into the nuts and bolts, I got to tell you, this presentation is going to be informational. I can't make any promises about how the system will perform for you because I don't know how well you'll perform the system. Now, we can start. It's called 5 Smart Steps to Transform Your Work into Wealth, and here they are. Step 1 is planning. Step 2 is spending management. Step 3 is cash accumulation and deployment. Step 4 is debt elimination. And step 5 is investing to build what we call job optional income. Well, what's that? Now we got a wealth curve. Now we got job optional income. What's that? Well, it's simple. It's when your income from your accumulated wealth, along with other non-job income streams like Social Security, a business of your own, whatever, All of those things together generate enough income for you to live without a job. So it's optional at that point, and we can get you there. Okay, let's get you on the wealth curve towards job optional income. Now, it's a process. Like I said, 5 steps. The first step is planning. Second step is to manage your spending so that you can begin accumulating cash in a cash accumulation and deployment platform. Where do you deploy it first? You deploy it into eliminating debts, because that frees up even more usable cash flow, which can then be used to invest to grow wealth, which will produce job optional income. So let's look at it one step at a time. Step 1, planning. Your plan needs at least 3 data points. Number 1, the age at which you'd like your job to be optional. Number 2, your likely monthly income at that time, and your likely monthly expenses at that time. These are numbers you got to figure out to find out how doable it is. So let's look at the first one. What is your desired job optional income age? Only you can pick that. This is the age at which you'll want your combined income streams to cover your expenses so that you can essentially do what you want. You can keep working at your job if you love it, or do other things if you love those better. You may not leave your job, but you could, because it will be optional. The second data point, what will be your income sources? You can get income from your wealth curve investments we'll be talking about, a business of your own, Social Security. You can go here and find out right now what they expect to underpay you with, and a pension if you're lucky enough to work where they still do pensions. Third data point, estimate your job optional income monthly expenses. Mostly these will be the same types of expenses you have now. This is a projection out to, if you say, I want to stop when I'm 65, or I want to have different options at 65. Okay, what will be your expenses at age 65? That's what we're trying to determine here. Consider what debts will be gone by that time. Will the house be paid off? Will the vehicles be paid off? Will you downsize? Well, there are different ways to make those numbers different. You could sell off cars. You could do different things that will change your expense picture. Will that leave you with enough money each month? That's the question. Will you have a projected income surplus? In other words, the income from those streams you've identified that you can count on, will that be more than your expenses, or will you have an income gap, which unfortunately is more often the case? And what's your plan to close any gap, if you have a gap, by your job optional income age that you selected? So this is the plan. What's the problem? Figure out how to solve the problem, plan out the steps, and get there. And your plan needs to include the exact steps from where you are now to having a job optional income surplus. More coming in than you need to have going out. Now, these steps need to be achievable by you, and they need to be believable to you. Because if your subconscious mind can't believe that it's possible to do what you're trying to do, it won't work on it. And you need your subconscious mind working on it. That's where most of the work will get done. Your plan needs to include the exact steps. What specific expenses will you reduce so you can save more between now and then? In other words, if you can reduce your expenses between now and your job optional income age, you'll have more left to pay off other debts with and then to invest. How will you increase your income between now and then so you can save more between now and your job optional income age? Write your plan on paper or put it on your computer, because your brain leaks. 2 months from now, you won't even remember we were here this evening. Your resolve fades over time. You need to be reminding yourself. You must remain accountable to your plan. And if you don't have it there to review, there's nothing to be accountable to. So that's step 1, planning, setting up the plan from where you are now to where you want to end up. Step 2, spending management. This is imperative. And your financial enemies don't want you to figure out this particular point. You are being systematically manipulated into buying things you don't need. Don't believe me? Check your closets, check your garage, check your attic. If you have a basement, check down there, check your storage locker, all the things you bought that you thought you absolutely had to have. And now you're going, why did I spend the money on that? Because you were manipulated. You are also being systematically manipulated into using credit to buy those things, because the banks want to own your future income. But if the banks own your future income, you won't be able to use it to build job optional income. You will be forced to work until you die. We don't want that. You need to fight back against this manipulation. You need a system that will help you spend with your brain rather than with your emotions. You need a system to protect a portion of your current income to build your future income. And you need a system that gives you feedback. To manage your spending, your brain needs to know the numbers and the trends. It needs to know your income and your expenses, because what gets measured gets done. So download and use an income and expense statement. Microsoft's just waiting to give you some to try out and use in your spreadsheet program. And you can go to office.com, the templates page, and get that. Keep an informal spending journal. And there are many good ones you can put on your phones, the spending tracker apps that you can put on your phone. You have to know where your money is going. Most Americans, they take money out from the ATM on Monday. By Friday, they can't tell you where most of it went. Okay, you need to track it. All right, that's managing your spending. Why do you want to manage your spending? Because you want to find the leaks. And believe me, there are leaks where money is just leaking out of your life, frivolous stuff, unnecessary stuff, and that's the money you need to aggregate to push into the next step, which is cash accumulation. You need a cash accumulation platform. You want an account that will both accumulate and grow your cash. Ideally, this platform would be risk-free, tax-free, with guaranteed internal growth, but restriction-free access to your money at all times. Sounds nice, doesn't it? This is also your cash deployment platform. This is the staging account from which you'll deploy accumulated cash. The money you'll use for major purchases, for emergencies, for debt elimination, and for investments will come from this account. You could use a bank savings account or CD. Growth rates are low, but your money is relatively secure from capital loss, meaning that what you put in won't go away. Unfortunately, growth in these accounts is not tax-free. You know, they'll pay you 0.25%, but then Uncle Sam wants a piece of that when it comes out. So this is the platform where you accumulate cash to deploy strategically, and the first place you want to deploy it is into debt elimination. Debt is just banks stealing your future. So use your accumulated cash from step 3 to systematically accelerate your debt payoff. Ideally, this system would grow the money you're using for debt elimination at the same time it's eliminating your debts. Now that sounds pretty miraculous, but I'm gonna show you that that's possible. And by the way, if you're feeling like you're being fed from a fire hose right here, don't forget you're gonna get the slides from this presentation. Debt elimination is crucial to achieving job optional income. You cannot service a typical consumer debt load and build job optional income. Your monthly debt payments are the same dollars that should be building your job optional income streams. But debt elimination is really kind of simple. In fact, it's as simple as 1, 2, 3. 1, stop increasing your debt. Okay? Leave the cards alone. Don't use them. Step 2, maximize your monthly margin. That's back there in the spending management piece. Your margin is the money that's left after you've paid necessary expenses so that you can move it into accumulation for debt elimination. And then step 3, focus your monthly margin on paying off your smallest to largest balance debts one at a time. What does that mean? Okay, you got several debts. You find the one with the smallest balance. It has a monthly payment. All the rest of them have minimum required payments. You pay the minimum required payments on everything else and take all of your margin and you add it to the monthly payment for debt number 1, the smallest balance debt, and you just pound on that with all that money month after month till that debt is gone. Then you fold in what used to be its monthly payment and you roll the now larger margin, monthly margin, onto the second smallest balance debt, and you start beating up on it month by month by month until it's gone, and you just keep doing that, rinse and repeat, until you get through all your debts. So that's commonly called the snowball method, and it works very well. So how would you feel? Think about this. If you had no credit card payments, no car payments, no student loan payments, no department store payments, or other consumer debt payments, what would that mean to you? Let me know in the chat what you would do if you were completely debt-free. Let your imagination run wild for a second. Now, most people never let themselves think of this because they don't believe it's really possible for them. Well, I've been specializing in that area for more than a quarter of a century, and I can tell you confidently it is very possible to eliminate your debts. And we have some help in that area for you. So, step 4, eliminate your debts. Why? Because now you're recovering all that monthly money you're wasting on debt payments, and now you will be able to roll it into the next step, which is investing. And most people are trying to invest with $50 a month, $100 a month. That doesn't get you anywhere, at least not anywhere significant. But if you can get back out, think about all the money you're sending out in debt payments every month. What if that was going in to savings for investing? Think about that. That's a much different picture, isn't it? Now, how do we invest? Well, banks know how to grow their money, don't they? So let's take a page from their playbook and invest in the same assets they do, like real estate, business loans and leases, educational loans, vehicle financing. You notice you don't see stocks on there. You don't see bonds on there. They don't speculate. Stay away from these paper investment markets. Stocks and bonds come with capital risk. Capital risk, remember, means the money you put in is at risk, not just the growth. The money you put in could be taken away. Ask anybody you know that experienced 2008. It really can happen. Your primary income source, this is something most people never think about. Your primary income source is already at risk. I mean, how many times have you turned on the news in the evening and heard that some big company is laying off 10,000 people? Those 10,000 people went into work that day whistling, thinking, nothing like a steady paycheck from a good company, and they walked out with their stuff in a box. So you can't really count. You could have an illness, an accident. The company could have a problem. Your primary income source is not locked in. So that's already at risk. So you don't want to be taking more risks with your investment. Well, your 401k, IRA, 403b, et cetera, they're always at risk. Why? They're in the shock market. Almost all the time, most of that money is out there in the market, which in my estimation is a green felt tabletop in Las Vegas. Seek investments with little to no capital risk. You want your job optional income funds to be there when you need them. I have friends that thought they were going to retire in 2008 who are still working. Okay, look for alternative investments. These are alternatives to the typical paper markets, like private equity funds, private lending, life settlement funds, structured commercial loan funds, bridge loans. You may not have heard of a lot of these things, but they're a better choice. They're a more dependable choice. So there are your 5 steps to job optional income. Planning. And your plan starts out with managing your spending so you can aggregate a margin every month, some leftover money that you can put into your cash accumulation and deployment platform. First place to deploy it, debt elimination. Why? You recover all that monthly payment money so that you can invest to build wealth, and eventually that wealth can pay you income streams to make your job optional. And don't forget, we have a Kindle Fire for 1 lucky winner plus 2 valuable bonuses for everybody who stays until the Q&A. And one of those bonuses is a tool that will help you calculate your actual total debt elimination timeline. So if you're wondering, yeah, that debt elimination thing sounded pretty good, when can I do that? You can do that as soon as we're done. You'll be able to work that out, and it's relatively simple, and it'll show you the numbers, and you'll actually know if you focus when you could be debt-free. The other bonus is all the slides from this presentation. So you will have all 5 steps I just showed you. Now, is that helpful? Did the 5-step job optional income process make sense to you? You know, if you went to a certified financial planner and paid him or her thousands of dollars to develop a financial plan for you, it would have these 5 steps in it. Okay? So this is the sequence. You have to go, this is what it takes to get from where you are to where you want to be financially. Give me a yes in the chat. Let me know if we're good to keep moving, because I know that I'm going rather quickly, but I want to respect your time. So I've taught you the 5 steps. You could create your own action plan and execute them. And if you can and you want to, I wish you well. I pray blessings on your life. But we've engineered a system that has been 2.5 decades in the making. Our system is the cheat, the shortcut I was talking about earlier. Now, why is that important? Because systems are smarter than goals. Goals are arbitrary destinations without the steps to get you there. Systems are the step-by-step process actions that, if followed, will get you to your goals and likely beyond them. Goals produce desire and then frustration. Think about your goals you had at the beginning of the year. Systems produce results. The 5 steps on steroids is our system. Our system is powered by a uniquely designed financial mechanism called a private family bank. Our system will accelerate your debt payoff and simultaneously build your wealth simultaneously in an account that will only and always go up at a growth rate up to 20 times what banks pay, with no market corrections, no crashes, no surprises. Our system can eliminate your debts and build job optional income with the same dollars at the same time. It can grow your money tax-free. Our system can give you tax-free use of your money for any reason while leaving the full amount growing in the account. Oh my gosh, how's that possible? You can self-finance your consumer purchases. You could self-finance car purchases. It's way better than a 529 plan to save for college. Our system can instantly and dramatically increase your family's net worth. It can protect your money from lawsuits and judgments. That varies a little by state, but they all have protections. Our system can allow you to pass your money to your heirs tax-free. It can let you invest in any asset or strategy and give you a higher return than you could get any other way. Our system can put you on and keep you on the wealth curve. Now, this is not for everybody. Only people in the United States and Canada who want to completely change their financial life. There is a small investment, but I'm going to make it as easy as I can for you. Now, our system is called the Smart Wealth System. And SMART stands for something. The S stands for start with a plan. The M stands for maximize your accelerator margin. A stands for activate your private family bank. R stands for remove your debts. And T stands to transition to investing like a bank. The Smart Wealth System is a 5-session course. Every session has 2 major sections: the primary lesson section and then related bonus lessons and tools that all augment the lesson itself. Plus, there are weekly online classroom webinars where we review course content and answer your questions live. And by we, I mean me and my partner, Tony. So let's look at the 5 sessions. Session 1, start with a plan. We will take you through a planning process that will give you a clear picture of where your current financial trajectory is taking you by your job optional income age. This is the diagnosis stage of the Smart Wealth System. If your current trajectory shows you will not have more income than expenses by the age at which you'd like your job to be optional, the rest of the Smart Wealth System course will focus on turning your income gap into a surplus. If, on the other hand, your current trajectory shows you will have more income than expenses by that age, the rest of the course will focus on growing that income surplus into an even larger and more dependable mountain of job optional income. You get taught. Every lesson is me and Tony on video streaming, and we teach you the lesson. But you can also stream or download the audio of the lesson. You can take that downloadable audio with you on your phone or any other device that'll play MP3 files and take it with you to review, and we highly recommend that you do that. The documents that come with this lesson include the presentation slides for the lesson, plus you get a worksheet to follow along with us as we're teaching, and in this case, it's the Start with a Plan lesson worksheet. You also get the Job Optional Income Living Expense Projection Excel spreadsheet. Because in session 1, remember, we're going to try to project your job optional income age expenses, how you see your expense picture looking at that age out in the future, and we give you a spreadsheet designed to help you do that, and we use it in the lesson. So session 1 is a great start to the planning process, but then I got to thinking, following a financial plan to a desired outcome requires personal performance principles most people have never been properly taught. So I thought I should share what I've learned about them. So your session 1 bonuses start with an audio lesson called The Laws of Success. This lesson reveals 15 bedrock principles that, if acted on, can pretty much guarantee your success in whatever you focus them on. They're at the root of all success. Plus, you get an audio lesson. Now, these are full audio lessons, around 50 minutes each. This lesson examines 12 fundamental achievement truths. If you've bothered to establish any goals for your life, following these time-tested rules will lead you to their accomplishment. You also get your average retirement, your average job optional income day tool as a PDF. Now, this tool will help you determine how expensive a lifestyle you plan on living most average days after you want your job to be optional. You also get the post-employment lifestyle to-do list PDF. Now, this is a tool that will help you list the things you'll get to do, not the things you'll have to do in your job optional income years. So that's a lot. And it was just session 1. Session 2, maximize your accelerator margin. This session will give you the most visibility you've probably ever had into the spending side of your current financial situation. We will use both psychological and mathematical tools to reshape your spending management so you can maximize the amount available for the next step in the Smart Wealth system. You will feel the confidence of finally being in complete control of your money. If your session 1 plan shows you'll have an income gap at your job optional income age, this session is going to show you how to start closing that gap to solidify your financial future. If your session 1 plan projects you'll have a surplus, this session will dramatically increase the cash flow. Your Smart Wealth system can focus on exploding your job optional income. So, session 2's lesson section. You get Tony and me on video streaming, plus you get us on audio of that teaching. And you can take that with you. You can watch it streaming, or listen to it streaming, or download the streaming. Plus, you get lesson documents with session 2. You get the slides, you get the worksheet to follow along with us as we're teaching, and you get the income and expense statement Excel workbook. Now, to call this a spreadsheet would be, well, a dramatic understatement. This is a multi-tab Excel workbook that will literally track every dollar of your household income and expenses, no matter how they go out. If they go out annually, quarterly, irregularly, if they go out in credit payments, if they go out in cash, this will track every expense area and every income source in your house. So you will finally know exactly how much money you have coming in and going out. Plus, we have suggested spending tracker apps that we'll show you in the course. But lesson 2 got me to thinking, if maximizing your accelerator margin is that important to achieving job optional income, then we should provide you with some additional portable, easily reviewable training to help you do that. So your session 2 bonuses start with an audio lesson called Finding Your Accelerator Margin. This audio lesson takes you on a tour of all the places money can be leaking out of your life, money that could be building your wealth. You'll be surprised by some of them. You also get an audio lesson called Manage Your Spending to Maximize Your Accelerator Margin. This streamable or downloadable audio lesson unveils manipulations used on you by the marketing industry so you can make buying decisions with your brain rather than your emotions. Remember, we were going to help you against the manipulation, and this is where we do it. This one revelation could free up a lot of money that could be better focused on building your job optional income. Session 3, Activate Your Private Family Bank. This session unveils the private family banking concept, the platform from which you will pay off your debts if you have any and build your wealth using the same dollars at the same time. This is the engine that powers the Smart Wealth system. Your private family bank helps you reduce both your current and future expenses and increases your future income. So it closes your job optional income gap by moving both the income and expense levers. The private family bank is a truly unique tool that is quietly being used by America's richest families and biggest companies, including most banks, to safely, predictably, and powerfully build their wealth in a tax-free environment. And it's not in any bank account. In this session, we do much more than just tell you what a private family bank is. We unpack how to start your bank, how to grow it, and how to use it. This is a how-to training. Now, this is important. A true private family bank platform is only available in the United States and Canada. This is because of differences in tax laws and insurance regulations, not just because I'm a party pooper. Sorry about that. Now, session 3's lesson, you get me and Tony again, and we actually have a lot of fun on these lessons, and so will you watching them. You get us on video and audio. You get the slides from the presentation, and you get the worksheet to follow along with us during the lesson teaching. But then lesson 3 got me to thinking. I'm doing a lot of thinking. At the root of most people's financial limitations is their mode of thinking about money. This mode comes largely from your experiences growing up. So I figured I'd better climb into your head and expand your thinking. So you get an audio lesson called Your Mind's Money Box. In this lesson, I expose a mental blueprint that confines most people to a lower economic reality than they're capable of. I go on to explain how to redraw your blueprint, freeing you to achieve and enjoy more financial rewards than you may now be able to even dream of. So, we doing okay? Chat, yes, if you're tracking with me. Chat, no, if you've fallen asleep and gone into a coma. But I am giving you a lot of information fast, so that should keep you awake. And I'll have a special offer for you before we start the Q&A to make the smart wealth system easily accessible for you. But let's keep the train rolling. Okay, thank you for those yeses. All right, session 4 is remove your debts. This is important. This session shows you how to use your private family bank to pay off your debts. Using your private family bank as the platform for this step means that every dollar, now listen closely, every dollar going through your bank to pay off debts actually stays in your bank, earning interest and dividends up to 20 times what regular banks pay. Since this growth is tax-free, it's on a par with what the average stock market investor normally earns after taxes. It's tax-free the way we show you to use it. And debt elimination reduces both your current and post-employment expenses, further closing your job optional income gap and increasing your future wealth. So, like all the previous lessons, you get the session 4 lesson with me and Tony on video and audio. You get the presentation slides. You get the Remove Your Debts lesson worksheet to follow along. And you get the debt prioritization Excel spreadsheet on both Excel as an Excel file and as a PDF if you want to try to do it with a pencil. But session 4 got me to thinking. If you've been using debt to finance your life and lifestyle, you may not fully comprehend the scope of how this undermines your ability to ever achieve job optional income. So I thought I should explain it to you. So your session 4 bonuses start with an audio lesson called Debt, Your Biggest Obstacle to Wealth. This lesson exposes just how destructive carrying debt is to your ability to ever build job optional income. You can either make debt payments or build wealth. Pick one. I'm talking mostly about consumer debt here. You also get the audio lesson, Whose Wealth Are You Building? This lesson goes into more detail on the league of industries we call the Coalition of Four, and you're going to be fascinated when we explain how these things work. These guys work together. This powerful marketplace consortium shrewdly diverts most of the money you produce in your life into their bank vaults rather than into your own. Now, if this is starting to sound like a lot of information, this program is designed to be consumed 1 session per week. If you want to jump in the deep end, you'll be able to access all 5 sessions immediately if you take our course, but the live online classroom webinars with me and Tony will only be conducted once a week, so we'll be pacing you. All right, session 5 is called Transition to Investing Like a Bank. This session teaches you how you can invest in the same kinds of assets that banks invest in, like real estate, vehicle financing, college education loans, businesses, home remodeling projects, and other low-risk, high-return, asset-based investments. Notice real estate and businesses in this investment asset list. Rental real estate and a business of your own can produce income streams independent of your job. In other words, job optional income streams. So if you use your bank to get these things up and running, then they can produce additional income streams for you. We teach you how to invest in private equity funds, debt funds, bridge loans, and more in there. Your investments in these funds and loans are backed by real assets, not just paper statements. And when you use your private family bank to invest in these asset classes, all the dollars you use for these investments will continue earning interest and dividends inside your bank. So what happens to all that money staying and growing in your private family bank? Well, it too can be turned into an ongoing, dependable wealth curve income stream whenever you want. You can also easily use funds from your bank to invest in any other asset you feel confident with. You good at options, precious metals, art, whatever other investments you understand, and you should only invest in things you understand. You have to get the money from somewhere to make these investments. The best place to store it is in a private family bank. So session 5 lesson, you get it the same way. Tony and me on video and audio. You get the slides of the presentation to review, and you get the worksheet to follow along during our training. But lesson 5 got me to thinking. If you're going to invest to achieve job optional income, you need to think like a wealth builder. So I thought I should give you the advantage of knowing the principles that successful wealth builders apply. So your bonuses for session 5 start with the laws of wealth creation. This lesson unpacks 11 foundational principles to successful wealth building. If you just get these critical truths down inside you, your actions will draw you towards money and money towards you. You also get the audio lesson, Investing in Real Estate. This lesson is a step-by-step guide to operating a single-family home rental real estate business. It's a detailed overview that makes sure you consider every important aspect of investing in rental real estate, from analyzing properties before you make an offer to building your support team of experts. Now, session 5's bonus tools include your personal balance sheet. You need a balance sheet because the balance sheet is the place where you can mathematically see how wealthy you are. This is the document that tells you you're increasing wealth. At least it should be increasing. So you should do it periodically. We give it to you both as an Excel spreadsheet and as a paper worksheet you can print out. We also give you sample private family bank business loan documents and a sample business loan amortization schedule. Now, why do we give you these two things? Because if you build up your bank and you start lending money to businesses, your business, if you have a business of your own, or anybody else's business, the business needs these documents in their corporate book to make the interest payments back to you tax deductible. So rather than you either not knowing that or A or B having to hunt all over the internet for them, we give them to you. So this is a system. Start with a plan is step 1 in the system, and we give you the plan. We take you through the planning process. That plan helps you spend with your brain turned on, and we teach you, especially in the audio lessons, a lot of ways to maximize that accelerator margin, which is the monthly money left over to push into your cash accumulation and deployment platform, which is your private family bank. First place you deploy it is to remove your debts, which frees up even more money so that all that aggregated money can flow into investing like a bank. And all those investments will turn around at the appropriate moment and start giving you income streams to make your job optional. So there are your 5 smart wealth system sessions. Does that mean I'm done? Not exactly. See, we decided we wanted to give you a bonus session, 6, which is eliminate your job optional income gap. This is a complete 6th session, including video and audio lessons, handouts, and bonuses, bringing all the tools of the previous 5 sessions to bear on making sure your post-employment income streams will add up to more than your post-employment living expenses. As with the previous lessons, you get it on video and audio with me and Tony. You get the slides and you get the worksheet to follow along with us. But lesson 6 got me to thinking. If I'm going to ask you to consider making bigger life changes to allow you to enjoy job optional income, then perhaps I should give you a teaching on just that. So your session 6 bonuses start with an audio lesson called Redesign Your Life. This interesting lesson takes you outside of your life plan box to explore other lifestyle and location possibilities. You may well find a more desirable retirement life or even current life in a less expensive area, possibly even doing something much different from your current occupation. And then I had yet another thought. If you'd like to take some steps to increase your income to help you build your wealth and close any income gaps, well, there are several ways you can do that. So I thought I should explain those to you. So you get an audio lesson called How to Increase Your Income. This powerful lesson examines your realistic options for increasing your primary income stream and adding additional income streams. From strategies for getting a raise, to changing employers, to changing careers, to starting a business of your own, this lesson helps you determine what would work best for your present and future life. You also get a career change checklist if that's something you decide to do. The key steps you need to do it are on this sheet. And we also give you a second income evaluation form. This spreadsheet will help you determine whether a second household income will really improve your cash flow. Sometimes it doesn't. And you get a special bonus, a free personal private family bank consultation. This is live one-on-one. You can find out how much job optional income your private family bank could build for you by that age you want your job to be optional. And you can find out how rapidly you could pay off your debts through your private family bank. Okay, now I'm done. In fact, I'm so done, I'm going to take a sip of water. That's the Smart Wealth System course. So let's hear from a few people actually using the Smart Wealth System. Here's Carol. Carol says, I have become so obsessed with my money that I do believe you've created a monster. I went through the Smart Wealth System and have started my personal family bank, and I'm within 2 years of being completely debt-free. You have also taught me to start planning for what to do with all that freed up money in my accelerator margin. The private family bank has also allowed me to pay down my debt even faster. I love listening to you two. I feel as if I'm listening to my well-respected neighbors. My family looks at me with envy when I talk about money and not having a mortgage. I am your best advertisement. They know you will be there for them when they are ready. Thank you, John and Tony. Lori says, with the Smart Wealth System, I feel very confident. There are bonus videos with each session that teach you how to reduce your expenses, achieve professional success, and detailed advice on ways to invest your money. For anyone who is striving for financial security and for work being optional in the future, I recommend this program most highly. Henrietta, I want this knowledge to be shared with every young person out there. Let's stop giving our money to high credit cards and high auto loans and student loans and so on, and start paying ourselves for the things we need, like a car, a house, an education, while securing our financial future for retirement. I do not want to have to work for the rest of my life. I want to be able to set a retirement date when I want. That's the beauty I saw in the system. It's a smart way to build financial security. The process was simple and easy to grasp because I already have the mentality of investing in myself first. Do it for you as I have done it for me. Dave says, I had to change my retirement strategy because what I was doing was not working. The standard 401k wasn't working. I was saving, but I wasn't getting out of debt. I lost a lot of money in 2008 and credit card debt increased substantially. I wish I had done this when I was younger. No kidding, Dave. And Andrew says, now I got to preface this one by saying this came from an email I got on a day when our friendly neighborhood stock market dropped by over 1,000 points. So Dave says, thank you for your advice and your help with our savings plan. Many of my coworkers were concerned all day about the plunge of today, and I was able to simply relax. Thank you again. Becky says, if you decide to give the SMART program a try, we're pretty sure you won't be disappointed. We weren't and still aren't. The program is a magnificent, life-changing, and practical approach to financial freedom. And like many other people have said before us, we wish we would have found this program sooner. But if you can't go back in time, today's a good day. So just imagine, with the Smart Wealth System, you can be rapidly paying off your debts, and instead of just sending extra dollars to your creditors, every debt elimination dollar will be simultaneously staying in your private family bank to build your wealth for the rest of your life. If you don't have any debts, every dollar you put in the system will give you a guaranteed internal return. Plus, you can use money from your bank to make outside investments while the money actually stays in your bank, earning interest and dividends. It's crazy. SMART is a lifetime financial system. It's not just about paying off debts. It's not just about becoming your own financing source for cars, home remodels, vacations, child, grandchild educations, healthcare costs, and so on. It's not just about building a job optional income stream. It's not just about instantly creating a large and growing estate to pass on to your heirs. It's all of the above. The Smart Wealth System course will clarify and focus your finances on eliminating any debts while simultaneously growing your private bank's money pool that you control and can access at any time for any reason. And it will help you build additional wealth through safe, secure investments backed up by real assets, not just monthly statements. And it's a generational system. The Smart Wealth System course will give you a template to pass on to your heirs. You won't just leave them money when you pass. You'll leave them a financial system they can follow to multiply that money. But time is of the essence. To manage class size, especially for the live online classrooms, this offer is only going to be available until midnight Sunday Pacific time. If you don't take this offer, you'll have to wait for the next class, and you may have to pay a higher price. So what is the price? Well, let's put value in perspective first. Thousands of people paid an average of about $3,000 to attend the Tony Robbins Wealth Mastery programs I taught. Thousands of people paid an average of about $4,000 each for the Transforming Debt into Wealth coaching that the coaching company affiliated with my program taught. Now, if the Smart Wealth System, this is a better way and a more practical way to look at the value. If the Smart Wealth System could help you reduce your monthly expenses by, we'll say, $850 a month, and that is very doable. That is a car payment or two and a few credit card payments, and you're at $850. That would improve your cash flow by more than $10,000 a year. And if the Smart Wealth System could build enough wealth to generate $10,000 a year in additional tax-free income for you, which is also very doable, that would increase your net job optional income to your home, to your family, to you by $20,000 a year. Now, that is a practical, achievable value of this course, and not just a one-time value, an annual value. That's the real results value of what we teach. But let's just consider the value of what's in the Smart course. In fact, let's just consider the live online classroom webinars with me and Tony. These are 90-minute live webinars. You get unlimited access to weekly, hour-and-a-half live sessions with me and Tony. Now, wealth coaches and financial advisors routinely charge $200 to $500 an hour or $1,000 per review session. Now, you're getting two of us for an hour and a half. That's like 3 hours worth of financial coach. If you just came for 6 of these sessions, which you could come for many more, but if you just came for 6, that alone is a $6,000 value. And many people come on the sessions and they ask really good questions and they learn a lot. And this $6,000 doesn't include the value of all the other educational components of the course. 6 teaching lessons on video and audio, all the slides, all the handouts, and all the spreadsheets, plus 17 bonuses, including loadable audio lessons, printable tools, and spreadsheets. Or the special bonus, a free personal one-on-one real-time private family bank consultation where you can find out how much income your bank could provide and how fast it could pay off your debts. This is priceless. I can't even put a dollar value on it. Of course, you won't pay anything like the $20,000 potential results difference this course could make in your life each year, but that is a real number. Or even the $6,000 value of unlimited time with me and Tony. Just the entertainment value, the cover charge should be $6,000 for us on these live classrooms. The Smart Wealth System course is $697. Now, that is a great deal. That's essentially $1.91 a day for 1 year to change your financial life for real. It's less than you'd pay for a 3-day weekend at a nice hotel, which would be a memory that would, of course, fade unless you write it down or put it in your computer. But instead of just ending up with a few fun memories, you can create a stress-free future filled with great memories. Yes, that is a great deal. But Tony and I want to make it irresistible, because we know how this course could change the future for you and those you love. So if you're ready to act and take charge of the rest of your financial life, I will give you a $200 quick action discount today. Today. Now, yes, okay, till midnight Sunday, but really, just jump in there and do it. Don't vacillate. That's a good word. Look it up. So special today, $497. That is the blue light special. Let's put it in perspective, in fact. For the entire course, $497. My daughter is an accountant. One of her college textbooks, just one, costs $380. And you get this entire course for $497. So now you can see why I said the price may well increase in the future, because $697 minus $200 is crazy for all of this teaching. But if $497 is a stretch for you right now, you can make 3 payments of just $177. And even that comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. No kidding, you get to look at everything for a month. Let us mentor you. In the Smart Wealth System course, you'll be learning from 2 people who have dedicated nearly a combined half-century to researching and teaching personal finance strategies. We've helped millions of people worldwide. We can save you a half-century of mistakes. How much would you pay to save even 1 year of wasted time with your finances? Now, an order button should be showing up right about now over on the right side by the chat. Click it. Get smart now. By applying this system, you could pay off all your debts if you have them and keep the same dollars growing in your private family bank. You could build tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars in retirement savings or more. And some of the people that I showed you the testimonials, some of them have 2 commas in the numbers they're building. You could instantly increase your estate's net worth. You could save to educate your kids. You could know their education will be paid for even if you died before you saved enough. You could boost the return of any investment you make. You could add thousands to your retirement income stream. So get smart now and click that button. You can make 1 low payment of $497 or 3 lower payments of $177. You can even use PayPal. You can use a credit card or PayPal. And if you take PayPal, PayPal offers PayPal credit in the United States, and that is 6 months interest-free. Now, that's after you get into the PayPal portal, but then you can look up PayPal credit and you can make the payment, the full payment, and then you've got 6 months to pay PayPal back. So take the $200 quick action bonus today. It's a discount. If you don't take this offer, you'll have to wait. You may well have to pay a higher price because my insanity may fade. But more importantly, you will delay your arrival at job optional income. What does that mean? Well, I'm going to reach back into my Transforming Debt into Wealth course. And here's something that we calculated. We looked at a date out in the future when somebody was picked a retirement date, age 65, age 70, whatever out there, and the wealth that they had at that moment in time when they reached that point. Okay. And this is based on a certain growth rate, which is what the private family bank will give you. But we determined that every day they delayed starting would reduce that amount of wealth out there at retirement age by $429. $429 every day they delayed. So we used to just tell them, hey, take as many days as you can afford to think about it. And if you're not happy, if you get the course and you're not happy, we will give you your money back. Tony and I do this to help you have a better financial life, not to diminish it. So if you don't think your financial life has been improved, we don't want your money. You won't even have to talk to a human. Just send us an email and we will quickly process your refund. Oh, but what if I might not be available at the scheduled live webinar times? Well, the webinars are once a week on Thursdays at this same time frame. So if you can't be there Thursday evenings, guess what? We record and archive them. They go right into your portal where your course is. In fact, you'll get an email within about an hour of the live online classroom with a link to the replay. So you'll be able to see them and you'll hear all the questions that all the other folks asked and got answered. And you can always email right from the replay and get to us and ask your question if you have a question we didn't cover. How about I'm too old? Hey, I started mine at age 63. Okay. So I'm not sure there is a too old, especially since we have what we call a legacy phase application of this program, where it's not just about you and your bank. It's about the generations after you and how you can use your banking program to actually fund their banks. It's way cool. So there's no too old. How about I don't know anything about investing? That's perfect. We teach you investing inside the course. That's what's in session 5. So you will learn about it in there. You'll learn about the investing that will really work for you. How about I don't have any money to work with to build wealth? Well, sessions 2 and session 4 will help you find that money and loosen it up and get it freed up to build wealth with. We realize that these are realities for a lot of people, and so we teach you how to find and free up that money. How about I don't have money for the Smart Wealth course? Okay, this is one that I have found in my life is not really an objection, and here's why. And I'm just taking this out of my personal experience. If somebody, I'm a pilot, I've been flying since 1973. If somebody were to come up to me and say, I'll sell you a Cessna Citation for $297, you know what? I'd go get a ski mask and I'd go find $297. I would shake the sofa upside down. I'd shake kids upside down. I would find $297. So it's not the $297, it's the value. I'm sorry, $400. I was thinking of the $200 discount. Thanks for the correction. I have Tony's over here, the producer. His eyeballs got as big as saucers. $497. I don't have the $497. It's a matter of value. I would value a multi-million-dollar Cessna Citation and know it's worth $497. If I had a gold bar worth $10,000, I'm sure you'd come up with $497. It's just a matter of the value. If you see the value here and the change it can make in your life, you'll find the money. If you can't, then don't. We don't want to make your life worse. You have to make that decision. How about I already know about investing? That's great. We're going to show you a few things you might not have tried in the past, but you have to put your investing money somewhere to store it between investments. Why not a place where it grows while you're storing it? Way better than it will in banks or money markets. And it'll keep earning money while you invest it. So we have something you need to see. Now, you don't want to miss it. The people who take action now will be growing their job optional income. As my friend Tony Robbins puts it, the number one key to success is the ability to take action. So please take action. And now we will get back to the Q&A and also our giveaway. So it's time. And while we're talking, by the way, here, and we're visiting, click the Get Smart Now button. It's $497. But click the button. It'll open in another window. You won't miss anything that's going on here. So here's how you can win a Kindle Fire. I'm going to ask you a question. Now, remember, our system is the Smart Wealth System, SMART. So each one of those letters stood for something. Remember? I'll just say T stood for transition to investing like a bank. A stood for activate your private family bank. So what did the S in SMART stand for? The first one that answers that correctly wins the Kindle Fire, and Tony will catch you and he'll get with you offline. My watch keeps going. I'm trying to get it down to my wrist. So what does the S in SMART stand for? Dun, 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 dun. Joe got it. Oh, start with a plan. That's what it is. Everybody's going through their thesaurus. You can stop now. Yes. So congratulations, Joe. Tony will get with you and get your information, and we will get that Kindle Fire out to you, brand new, in a box. And so for the rest of us, we want to get into the questions and answers. So let's do that. And remember, go down to the bottom of the chat area, click on that little balloon, and select question if you want to ask a question. And that way we'll see it and be able to answer or catch it more clearly. We won't miss it. Okay, Merrick has a question. Is this applicable to someone who's retired and debt-free now? As I said, if you think of it in the legacy plan where you're looking not just at you and your money, but what you have to pass in terms of dollars and a system to people who are, following you. So if that's important to you, then this system applies to you. If it's just like you got your retirement income set and you know where everything's coming from and you just want to have all of that, then just have all of that. But if you're thinking about how you want to make every generation wealthier, than you, as opposed to like when rich people die, most of the time, within 2 generations, the family's broke. I mean, they're no better off than everybody else. So you need a system, and this system actually adds in extra money each time it iterates. So yeah, there is a legacy piece that if that's important to you, it applies. If not, nope. Any other questions? Chuck says, how different is this plan? There we go. How much different is this than the debt to wealth part? Well, okay. He's talking about transforming debt into wealth, which was my previous program with Nightingale Conant. And the wealth part is completely different. And here's why. In 2000, I got hurt, okay, like most people. I didn't get killed, but I got hurt in the crash of 2000. Okay, the stock market ticking along, the dot-com bubble, and then bam, everybody gets slammed. And then basically the market just crawls back up to the same spot, the same level in 2008. And I was already wary, so I was already deploying in different directions, but pow, it came down again. And what I had been teaching in transforming debt into wealth was pretty much what everybody was teaching. It's what Dave Ramsey teaches. It's what Susie Orman teaches. It's kind of like max out your 401k, put money in an IRA, 403b if that's what you use, and just put it all in there and, get the most bang for your buck that you can out of that thing. But you're in the market. And when the tide goes out, all the boats go down. And so I have, like I said, many friends, at least several that I can think of right now off the top of my head, who thought they were going to retire in 2008 or 2009, who are still working because the market took half their money away. Half. So when that happened, I looked at that and said, I can no longer tell people to do that. I can't in good conscience tell people to play that game. It's rigged. It's gambling. And the money that you need to retire, you should not be gambling with it. Okay. So I said, I have to find a better way. So I basically stopped teaching anything and went looking. And I remembered hearing about this concept that we now have in our system 10 years earlier. But I hadn't had time to really analyze it. I was busy running around the world with Tony Robbins, yay, jumping on the seats with everybody else. If you've ever been there, you know what I'm talking about. Dude has energy, okay? So I was in the middle of what I was in the middle of. But when I finally went back and looked at it, I spent like a day and a half kicking myself, hopping around the house because I should have been doing it myself 10 years earlier. So quick like a bunny, I got in, put all my resources in there, got completely out of the market, put everything in. And when I proved it all out that it did everything it was supposed to do, then I started telling other people about it. But to answer your question, long answer to a short question, it is completely different from the wealth building piece in transforming debt into wealth. Okay. I am 67. John says, with only 3 years left on my job, is this enough time for this to work? Again, I would say, John, only if you are thinking of the legacy application with that. Now, it partly depends on what is historically the health of the people in your family. Are you expecting to live a long time? If you are, then, then it still can work just for you. But when you get up into that retirement age bracket thing, now I'm talking about the private family bank particularly. The other stuff we teach is important. It's all important. The planning's important. The spending management is important. The debt elimination piece is incredibly important, and the wealth building. So, I mean, those 4 things are still all things you are going to want to do. And so learning them in the course is valuable. The bank, you'll have to look at that and decide if you have a longer term view beyond you. That's what I would say about that. Next question. We have a next question. Why do 3 payments cost more than $497? Really, for for the reason that we're essentially financing. So there is, there's a cost to financing. It's just like in a lot of cases, if you take handy dandy payments at anything else, if you go to an appliance store and you pay cash, you get one price. If you take a payment plan, those payments are going to add up to more than the price. Check your car payment. If it's 60 months, multiply that car payment by 60. I'll be willing to bet that's more than the price was on the car that you bought. So that's kind of what it is. It's just, if we're going to essentially carry for that period of time, there's a little bit of expense to cover us for that doing that. That's why. It's not that we can't divide. Okay. So yeah, you get a discount. That's a good way to look at it, Kyla. Kyla, are you employed? Well, anyway, that's good. It's good copy. Yeah, essentially you're getting a discount for paying in one payment. That's probably a better way to look at it. That helps the cash flow, for all the stuff we do. If you saw here, we got a kind of a studio here. All this stuff basically costs money, and the time thing. Okay, is the money in our family bank guaranteed? Yeah. There's a word right in there when we talk about it. It says guaranteed. So yes. Yeah. So yeah, I can say that. In fact, there's guaranteed growth on top of not losing your principal. Try that one out. Next time a stockbroker or somebody, says push your money in a 401k, say, will you guarantee every dollar I put in plus growth on that? Will you guarantee that? Probably have to take them out of a laughing fit. Okay. Kyla's an employer. All right. This is actually really cool. You need to get this because there are cool applications. Oh, she did? Congratulations, Kyla. Well done. Because there are applications for financing your business in here that can be really cool. And all of the business financing application actually grows your personal wealth, which is the purpose, as you know, of having a business. Having a business is not just so you got your own job, it's to make your personal life wealthier. Cool. Any other questions? Michelle, can you transfer money from a qualified pension plan that is being liquidated? Okay. You cannot roll it in the traditional sense, tax-free, protected rollover. You can only the IRS regulations require what's called like to like. You can roll a qualified plan into another qualified plan, like a 401k into an IRA. You can roll over a life insurance cash value into another life insurance policy tax-free, but you can't cross the streams, as they would say in Ghostbusters. So it's difficult. The only way you would be able to do that is actually, frankly, what I did. When I saw what I felt was so much better and safer place to have my money, I literally liquidated IRAs, 401k, rolled it into an IRA, liquidated it out, paid the taxes, and put it into my private family bank. So that's one way to do that. And so, yes, in that respect. But if you're looking for a rollover thing, no, that's not it. And actually, if you're less than 59 and a half, we would say don't pay the penalty. But money going towards a 401k or an IRA, I'd say that's game to move it over, to start putting it in to the private family bank and just stop funding those other things and let them do what they're going to do with the money that's already in there. You're welcome, Michelle. And, some people will say, wait, I get an employer match. Trust me, the employer match is not really worth that after all the sifting happens over 30, 40 years of paying in. It's less than you think. I get a 50% match. It comes out to less than 10% of your total fund at the end of the game. So there are better ways to build more money than that. Can you put a whole life insurance policy into it? Yeah. We can talk about how that can be done. Yes, is the answer to that question. And that's good, JC. Yep. Any other questions? Be happy to stay here as long as it takes to answer them for you, because I know that this is, it's a serious consideration. And however, I have trained enough people in financial stuff, in courses and in live seminars to know I have tons of testimonials unsolicited from people who just say, hey, I got your course 10, 15 years ago, and I just want to tell you my family's debt-free and my kids are, they're just in so much better place. I know how much difference this can make if you apply it. If this is going to be the treadmill that you just hang clothes on, don't do this. Seriously, don't do this. I don't want your money. If you intend to apply it, it can make a huge difference in you. If you only do 20% of it, that 20% can be a dramatic improvement in your life. So I'm serious. I know the value of that. So we're confident. And that's why we have the money back guarantee, because you will be able to get in. If you click that button, you'll be able you'll get an email that'll say, here's your credentials. Log in. You can see the entire course, all 6 sessions, all the bonuses, everything. So you'll know if you have value. It won't take you 30 days to figure that out. And if you don't see it, just send us an email. Pretty simple, pretty simple. We're trying to make it all good for you. That's what we want to do. So anything else? Any other questions about any of the 6 sessions? How anything works? Do you need a building for your private family bank? No, you don't need a bank charter. You don't need that stuff. We're going to make this really easy for you, and it's way cool. Yeah. If you're going to start a real bank, you better have money sitting around with a couple of commas in it just to get the charter. Yeah. So, okay, thanks you, Joe. There's a little bit of a testimonial. I didn't ask for that, but your $20 is on the way. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I blew that one. Thank you. That's very nice to hear. I just, we love helping people with this, and that's why we're doing it. Okay. All right. People are ready to start and happy to get started and excited about getting started. And we're excited too, because seriously, we want you to get in there, but then we're looking forward to Thursday already going, in fact, hey, if you get in there and get started, I don't know, will they get an email for tomorrow? No, you'll get it for next week. Sorry. Everything is kind of automated, but a week from tomorrow, you'll be able to be with us live and we have a good time. And so, we spread a lot of information and the questions are excellent, and you'll learn. What I really like about the live classrooms, I'm looking at Tony because he and I do it together. Here's his microphone. But they seem to elicit questions that allow us to cover stuff that actually isn't covered as well in the course, or isn't dealt with in the depth. They drill down. These questions really drill down. So it fleshes out the course, which is exactly what we wanted it to do. And that's why we put it in there. And that's why we commit our time to it. So anyway, can't wait to have you on Thursday nights. Anything else? We're coming up on the end of the time. We don't want to keep you. I got, a couple more minutes. We normally plan out 90 minutes for this. Okay, so let me start winding down here. And as I do, as I said, you can click that button and go over there, and it opens in another window, so you will be able to hear the last of my mellow tones. You won't miss anything. This is your opportunity to build job optional income. That's what this is all about, building that future that people sometimes dream about but don't have a clue on how they're actually going to do it. Well, we want to help you do it, and it is a great deal. Just the conservative value of the 6 online classrooms with me and Tony is $6,000. The actual value to your life could be $20,000 a year or more. And we have people where it's in the or more category. You can start immediately for just $497 or 3 low payments of $177. And remember, you get full access immediately, and the live sessions, live online classroom, Thursday evenings every week. So click the Get Smart button now. The order page is going to go away Sunday at midnight. And we don't kid about that. Trust me, that happens. It goes boing and it's all gone. And before we say goodbye, I promised you a couple of bonuses for staying with me. So don't click off just yet. The links to these 2 free bonuses are on the bottom of the order page. Okay, so we have a question. I'm going to deal with it, but I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to have to click the Get Smart Now button to get. Aren't we clever how we did this? We put the bonuses on the bottom of the order page. So you have to go there and go through all that stuff. And I suggest you read a little bit as you go down the page, but there are 2 links down there at the bottom, and you just click those big buttons, and they'll allow you to download those 2, the slides and the Calculate Your Debt Payoff tool. So you'll be able to get those. They're on the bottom of the order page. So click the button. All right. Rochelle says, my income is small, my family is big, and my expenses are big. Every time I look at ways to save money, I'm already utilizing them, or they don't apply. We don't have a lot of discretionary or investment money. Can this still help me? You know, that's a tough question. It depends seriously on, I mean, if you're that close to it, yeah, if you have debt you can get rid of, I would say that's what you should focus on. If you can have, if there's debt you can focus on, don't pay a little bit extra on every debt, by the way. Pay minimum payments on every other debt except the one you are focusing on. And that it's best to focus on the one with the smallest balance so that you can pay it off the fastest, okay? And then you recover its monthly payment, and that gives you a little more breathing room. Now you roll it onto the next debt, you pay that off, gives you a little more breathing room. So if you have no debts and your money is that tight, I would say don't do this. Don't do it yet. You need to find out how to bring more money into your household. Now how to increase your income audio lesson would probably be good for you. And actually, if you email me at john@smartestwealthsystems.com and remind me of this, john@smartestwealthsystems.com, I'll send you that audio for free because that'll help you increase your income. Your household sounds like it needs more income, and there are, certain ways that can be done. You need that help. So that's what I'd say. You need to look at the income side, and you need to look at the debts if they can be eliminated. If you're living off credit cards, you need to focus on bringing in more money. I mean, it's just math. So that's what I'd say, Rochelle. Okay, so to get the free bonuses, click the order form button and go down the form, and at the bottom you'll find the links to the 2 free bonuses. So I thank you for spending this time with me. Don't forget, 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk in taking the class. The bigger risk is the interest you won't save and the job optional income you won't build because you're not doing it. You could take as many days as you can afford to take, but I highly suggest you get started. So thanks again. And what if you missed those links? Well, you got till Sunday night at midnight to get them. Click the button, and you'll be able to get the links. So click on it should still be there, right? It'll be there all the way till Sunday. It'll be there all the way till Sunday, Tony tells me. So the order page plus, just click it and get over there and open that window up in your browser, and then you got till Sunday night to go down there and click those 2 buttons and download those 2 things. So, all right. Yep, Kyla figured it out. Hit the button again, scroll all the way down the bottom. If you're still having trouble, refresh your browser, click the button, go over. And I kept you guys long enough. You probably need to go eat dinner or do something fun. Thank you again. I really do appreciate your time, and we will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.